Hi everyone, Stepan here, another game. Let's go with English. Again, I was waiting for the game for a long time. Hopefully my opponent makes a move. Come on, please. Yes. Okay. Again, an invitation to a transposition. This time I'm gonna play knight f3 and try to stick to a normal English position. If he goes knight f6, I'm gonna go knight c3 into an Nimzo English. If d5, I have the option to go e3 or take and go d4. Okay, I'm going into the Nimzo English with knight c3. If he wants to go knight c3, okay, d5 here. Again, I can go e3 and stick to the English, so I'm gonna do that and try to play a position I've never played before. It is more common and more principled to take and go d4. I'm aware of that, but I would like to stick to English territory if I can. My opponent went for b6. Okay, I don't know at which point I should be taking on d5. I'm not really that experienced yet. Not now, obviously, because the bishop is now open. And I could castle or go b3. I think castles first is correct. Although I'm gonna have to revisit the theory here. I definitely am not prepared to play this just yet. So we will see what happens. By the way, sorry about my computer fans. Again, I'm going to keep apologizing because it's extremely frustrating. So now once I play bishop b2 and queen c2, it's all about whether I go d3 or d4. That's the main. I got bitten by mosquitoes so badly last night. I got no sleep. I'm extremely tired and everything is itchy. So I'm struggling to concentrate, but that's gonna happen during tournaments too. So I have to be prepared for that. Okay, after he castles, I can still go queen c2, and then after that I'm gonna really have to decide what to do. I'm allowing e5, that much is obvious, but I'm doing that on purpose because I want to see how I'll feel playing those positions. I'm not used to positions with e5 at all, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. If he plays e5, I think I just go d3. If he doesn't play e5, I probably will play d4. And then on c5, my center is going to be under pressure, which wouldn't happen after d3. So again, I'm not really sure what to do. I know that this is the setup. I just don't know plans well enough. See, the thing is, if he plays c5 now, I'm gonna go d3, and if he plays e5, I'm gonna go d3. So he's trying to play the queen's gambit. Maybe he is confused with the fact that my pawn is still on d2 and he would like to play c5. I don't think he wants to take on c4, which would lead to a normal hedgehog position. Wow, a6. What does a6 do? Prevents knight b5, but I didn't want to play knight b5. So I think I'll just go rook ad1. That seems fairly standard. Lining up my rook with his queen and waiting for him to decide what to do. Okay, he wants to play c5. So if I go d4, he's gonna go c5. Do I want to go d4 or do I go d3? If d3, e5, how afraid am I of e4? e4, d takes e4, d takes e4, knight d4, c5. I have knight f5. I think I'm gonna play with d3. I'm gonna try to stick to the English. I know that d4 is way more principled, but I'll try to stay in full English territory just to see how it feels. Because again, I have absolutely no experience in this position. And if I can, I'm gonna try to go rook e1, bishop f1, and e4. Okay. So if he does play d4, that for the moment loses a pawn. If he takes on c4, I'm gonna take with the d pawn. That's why I played d3, and I wanna open up my rook towards his queen. If he plays e5, I'm gonna take twice and play e4, making my bishop better than his. If he plays b5, that wins a pawn. I think a good plan for him might be knight b8 to c6, improving the knight, controlling d4, in which case I would have to do something with my c3 knight to keep control over d4 by opening up the bishop. It seems like a tense position, and it seems like not much is going on if white plays d3. I'm not sure I like that. Maybe I'm gonna stick to positions with d4. I don't like the fact that I'm playing for e4 now. Bishop f1. Am I afraid of bishop takes f3 there? Bishop f1, d4, ed4, bishop f3, gf3. Seems messy. cd4. Yep, seems messy, definitely. So if I go e4 now, e4, d4, d4, seems okay. e5. If e4, d4, then I'm pretty happy because I can go knight b1, d2, f1, g3. Maybe that's what you should play in this position. I don't know. If I don't play for e4, I don't know what to do. Honestly, I feel like e4 has to be played, but then again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go e4 anyway. I'm gonna try to break the center from the side, whichever way he takes. If he does take, I've just blunted his bishop, and I'm gonna be playing for the f5 square in the future if I take on d5 by transferring the knight to f1. And this way, I don't know, I'm trying to play the English, but it doesn't feel natural. I mean, I know why, I've never played it. So this seems very, very sketchy to me, to leave a hole on d4. Not that it can be exploited, he would again have to go for a plan like this, in which case I could just move my knight and increase control. But as I said, I'm trying to stick to the d3 English setup. And once again, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, this I'm happy to see. Now his bishop is definitely a bad piece. Now the bishop only has a future on this diagonal, which is never going to open up. And my plan is clear. Move the knight, go f4. Play for the f5 square. My bishop has the c1 square. The diagonal is already open. You can see that the difference is that his pawn is on e6, mine is on e4. Therefore, my bishop is great, his bishop is garbage. He's going to have to play f5 at some point. Now I'm kind of upset that I played rook e1. My rook would have been way more useful on f1, supporting f4, but what can you do? If he tries to play for f5, what do I do? If he plays knight e8 here, knight e8 is slightly concerning. Knight e8, what do I do? I could go bishop f1. Oh, he plays e5. Nice. Okay, Nice, 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 nice. Now I have to play for f4. Now I think h3, knight h2 is a very natural plan. h3, knight h2, rook f1, bishop c1, f4. Seems good to me, so I'm gonna do that. I cannot spend too much time. This way the bishop is still bad. And all of my pieces seem good, to be honest. I don't see a problem with any of my pieces. And perhaps this was too slow, but I don't think so. One thing that's true is that on f5 I never want to take, opening up his bishop. So if knight e8, knight h2, f5, I probably... Well, maybe I do have to take. If I go bishop f3 and he plays f4, I'm never going to win that position. So if I take, rook takes, bishop f3, knight f3, e4 still isn't threatened. He has to play for f5 as quickly as possible. I think that's his only chance. If he gives me time for knight h2 and rook f1 and f4, I could also try to use the f5 square immediately. So something like knight h4. For the moment knight e4 is hanging, but man, I wish I could get my... Okay, this doesn't concern me at all. I'm just gonna go for f4. If he takes on c4, what do I take with? I could throw in knight d2, which is a multi-purpose move. Knight d2, preparing to take on c4 with the knight, and also maybe preparing knight f1, h2, g3, f5, which seems interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to play quickly. I haven't done anything for my f4 pawn break, but I feel like transferring my knight to f5 eventually is going to be useful, and this way I'm increasing control over e4. So if knight e8, knight h2, f5 takes, rook takes. Oh, he closes the position down. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Knight h2. Followed by rook f1 and f4. Maybe knight f1 first. Knight f1, bishop c1, knight g3. Maybe transferring the knight to f5 first, provoking g6. I like my position now. He definitely wasted time on b5, b4. He did not achieve anything. His bishop is not better, his pieces aren't active at all. And again, I think the only source... Wow, why would you do that? I don't get that. Again, he isn't quick enough. When I play knight f1, I'm defending my knight twice. So after knight e8, I can actually go bishop c1. I don't understand bishop d6. I don't think bishop d6 is good. If knight e8, bishop c1. If anything else, knight g3. Trying to get into f5. I think he could have achieved way more in the last three moves if he'd played knight e8, f5. That's the main pawn break. Now if he wants to achieve something on the queen side, he has to play a5, a4, a takes b3. And that's 2.5 moves. Yeah, I don't think that's quick enough. So should I go knight g3 now? Knight g3, g6. Bishop c1. Yeah, I feel like that's the correct way to go. And if he doesn't play g6, I'm just gonna take that dark squared bishop to secure f4. And if he does play g6, then bishop c1 is a killer, getting on all the dark squares. I think I'm not strategically outplaying him. I think he wasted too much time deciding between plans. Okay, now let's go rook f1, prepare f4, have to play quickly. Now knight e8 fails to knight g4, where f5 allows bishop h6 check, winning. So he isn't in time for f5 anymore. Knight e8, knight g4. I mean, just visually look at my pieces around his king and look at his pieces not doing anything. I could even consider knight g4 now, but I don't want to. I could go for bishop d2 and queen c1, or bishop g5 and queen c1. How can I control h6? Is there any way to do that? So bishop d2, a4, queen c1 comes with a threat. So I'm going to do that. I need to increase control over f4, and the only way I can see of doing that is getting my queen to the diagonal and playing f4. Now I have a double threat of bishop h6 winning the exchange and f4 breaking the position favorably. He cannot play a4. a4, queen c1, and I think white is very, very close to winning that position. I'm happy that I'm playing quickly, I'm not wasting any time. But to be fair, my position is very easy to play because he's doing nothing to prevent what I'm trying to do. I want to do something and he allows me to do it. That's always nice. Now I think I'm strategically winning. f4 is coming. He has to defend against bishop h6 first. And I don't see a good defense. I mean, king g8, f4 takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Preparing rook df1 seems just crushing. And I could also throw in bishop h6 first to misplace the rook and then go f4 to make sure I have pressure on f7 straight away. Wow, okay. I'm just gonna go bishop h6. So now let's calculate on bishop f8. He cannot take because I take on d6, and when he promotes I take the queen on c7. Yeah, so I'm just going to take. He has to take back. He cannot take on a2 because of bishop d6, and I'm just two pieces up in that endgame. Well, not endgame, game. Okay. Okay, exchange up. This shouldn't be too problematic, I feel. Now, the only problem is that it's kind of hard to play for f4. And therefore, which is the German for therefore. I have a friend who's German and who always says therefore. I'm not making fun of German people speaking English, it's just that particular word is very funny when he says it. Okay, he wants to play knight f4. I can see that. I think it's time to improve my bad knight on h2. Also, my knight on g3 doesn't look great anymore. And I also want to challenge the a file, so I think queen c2 makes sense, also queen b2 makes sense. Queen b2, knight f4, rook a1, queen b2, queen c8, rook a1, queen b2. Yeah, I'm going queen b2 because I want to prevent queen a5 infiltrations, and I want to defend my pawn on b3. I'm still defending the bishop by the knight. Again, he should have broken the position up with f5. He did not. Now when I exchange the last pair of rooks, I'm his last rook. I'm going to be dominating the a file, and his bishops are still rubbish. And that, I think, should be it. I don't think there's any counterplay without f5, and now f5 has been permanently prevented because I just stayed twice. I don't have any more coffee, that's not good, but should still be okay. I really wonder about c4, d3, e4 in that setup. I wonder if my plans were correct. Maybe I just misplayed the position and should have gone d4. But it turned out well, because he didn't do anything to stop me. Again, I don't care if he takes my bishop. It's a bad bishop. It's worse than my knights, definitely. I just want to exchange rooks, grab the a file, play queen a2, rook a1, and initiate exchanges. If I trade queens and rooks, it's an easy win, because he has no way to activate the light squared bishop. It's obvious that this bishop is going to be bad for the rest of the game. It only has the e6 square. I don't see what it can do, even potentially, and with all of his pawns on dark squares, this bishop is just ridiculous. He would have to do something like bishop e7, against which I can just go knight f3, and the bishop has no squares, and if he plays bishop f8, bishop h6, which seems good, I don't think the bishop is doing much on that diagonal, to be honest. It seems like a bad bishop, because it has no targets. And if he declines the trade, then rook a7 is, I think, deadly. I don't think he can refuse the rook trade. Although I don't have to rush. Well, yeah, actually rook a7 seems just good. Rook a7 followed by rook a1. And he's getting very low on time. So looking at this position strategically, his knights are his good pieces, so I want to exchange those. I don't get queen c6. He wants to mate me. That's never gonna happen. I have too many guys defending e4. So let's calculate that. Rook takes, bishop takes. Knight e4, knight e4. And that's it. End of variation. He is not threatening knight e4 unless he takes first on e2. So let's calculate. Rook a1, knight e2. I could go queen e2, just defending e4, so I'm okay. But knight e2, knight e2, knight e4, d4, queen e4. I also just have knight f3 or f3 even. No, not f3. Knight f3. Okay, let's take over the file and let's tuck the bishop away to safety. bishop f1 feels extremely safe to me. I just don't want any tactical issues over here or over here. I want to free up my knight. And I want to do it quickly. No wasting time. Now I need to improve my knight on h2. If I could get my knight to a4, that would be great. I would have to go knight f1. No. How to get my knight to d1? I don't see a way to do that. Okay, it's not coming to a4 anytime soon. So let's just avoid tactical complications if we can. g2 is defended, h3 is defended, d3 is defended, everything is defended. Next move, I'm going rook a7 followed by queen a2. And then my idea will be something like queen a5, bishop c7, queen b5, offering a deadly trade. I don't think he can take, but then again, I've been wrong before. Maybe bishop f1 was too safe, but I feel safe with the bishop on f1 because I'm never getting mated on g2. Now I can also play g3 after I move my knight away. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna go rook a7. Pinning the light squared bishop. He wants to activate his own bishop. If he moves the knight, I'm gonna go knight f3, preventing that. With pressure on e5. Threatening, and if he defends with the queen, then knight e5, queen e5, rook b7. Now he doesn't have bishop b8 anymore, which he could have played previously. He is down to 1 minute. Okay. Knight f3. If he goes f6, then I just improved my knight. If he does anything else, then I just take on e5 and take on b7. I've prevented the development of the bishop. If he wants to play f6 and block in his own pieces, I would be very happy about that. And next I want to go queen a2, followed by queen a4, threatening the knight. And if he goes queen c8, then rook takes b7, queen e8, check. Okay. Why couldn't I just take on e5? I don't see why not. It does open up some lines. Knight e5, bishop d6. And his bishop becomes active. So I'm not sure I want to take that pawn. Let's think about this. Knight e5, bishop d6. Do I really want to take that pawn? Knight e5, bishop d6. I am much closer to playing f4. Knight f5, knight e5, bishop d6, f4, takes, f5, sorry, he wants to play f5. Do I want to take on e5? Well, he cannot play bishop d6 straight away because I put pressure on the queen. He would have to do something like queen b6, queen a2, Bishop. Okay, I'm getting the queen off the diagonal, so I'm gonna take. I don't care. The queen is getting off this deadly diagonal, so I think this capture is okay. Also, my knight on f3 gets back to defend. So now let's look at queen b6, queen a2, queen b6, queen a2. I can always play like a coward and take the bishop if stuff opens up. I'm not sure I wanted to take this pawn, because it gives his pieces some freedom. Okay, he flagged. Yeah, okay, I mean, I'm definitely much better here because I'm the exchange up and I'm probably winning. Now let's have a look at the opening. That's what I'm most interested in. b6, bishop e2. Why is b3 always played and not bishop e2? I guess we're gonna transpose at some point. No? What's the difference? If I go b3, doesn't black do the same thing? Why should I do this first? Okay, bishop e2. He did play a6 in our game, which I did not get at all. We had a position like this: queen c2, c5, no, sorry, rook c8 first, and rook ad1, a6. What did I play? I don't remember. d3, c5. Okay. I don't see a single reason why bishop e2 would be bad. Let's turn on the engine. Bishop e2. Ah, because I lose a tempo. I'm a moron. Okay. So I only do that after b3 so that I can recapture with the pawn. Now we are transposing. Yeah, now we are in the same position. Queen c2, a6, rook ad8, rook ad1, rook c8. Now this is the critical position I'm most concerned about. d4, as I told you during the game, is the principled move. But d3, the evaluation is the same, it's just equal. 0 compared to minus 0.1. Okay, c5 is the principled move. Rook f1 still equal. Queen c7. e4. Wow! Wow! I wasn't sure about this, but I had no idea it was losing. After e4, black is winning. Wow! If black pushes d4. Okay. Wow. Okay. And here I was thinking knight e8. And after h3, just f5. Yeah, this is very good for black. Very good for black. Active pieces. A -2 advantage. Knight b1, he played e5, which definitely makes my job easier. h3, b5. Yeah, now I'm getting back into the game. Because he does not have time for counterplay. Knight g3, g6, bishop c1. Okay. After queen c1, I'm still worse? I would have sworn that this position is better for white. This is -1.8. I know nothing about chess. Why? Why is black better here? Okay, I'm just going to print screen this position and then to remember to analyze it later. So the engine says black is better after knight g8 or king h8 defending the threat or moving the rook away. Okay, let's say black does play king h8. I throw in bishop h6, the rook moves and I go f4. Wow! I thought I was better here. I'm not joking. I mean, you heard me during play. Okay, -2. How can this be -2? Are there tactical issues with my knights? Probably. So okay, let's say knight e5, preventing the trade of bishops, and I was gonna double my rooks. Okay, he does this, fine. And I threaten a piece, so he has to do something. Really? He can do this? Ah, because the g3 knight is hanging. Idiot. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's all because of the tactical issues with my knights. The queen can take in the end. Wow. Okay. Yeah, okay, now the position is just good for me. Yeah. Bishop f1 isn't good. It's losing time, but I feel like it's a safe move. Yeah, okay, knight e5, winning. Wow. Oh my god, I know nothing about the English opening. I mean, I played the opening pretty well, everything was fine, and my plan with e4 was terrible. Okay, wow, I'm going to learn a lot from this game. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you got something. Stay tuned for more chess, bye bye.